Tonight, Dr. Christ talks about changes in campus ministry. Students tell us how they use social media on campus, and see how reporter Sarah Giomi styles lutes for fall, and the first female footballer speaks out about dating and other challenges. All that and more next on News at 9. Good evening, Lutes. Welcome to this year's first episode of News at 9, PLU's weekly student-run newscast that makes sure you never miss a story. I'm Roselle Rosales. We begin tonight with explanation about controversy regarding changes to campus ministry. Is Pacific Lutheran University losing its religion? Eddie McCoven reports.
After the departure of longtime PLU campus pastors Nancy Connor and Dennis Sepper, campus ministry is going through changes, with new admission statistics showing that only 17% of students identify as Lutheran. It prompts the question, will we lose our middle name? Last week, mass media asked President Christ and Chair of Lutheran Studies, Dr. Torvin, this question.
It's important because that was the founding impetus for the institution as a whole. So October 14th, which we call Bug-Harstad Day of Giving, now is also our Founders' Day. It's also important to note that the Lutheran tradition of higher education is central to who we are and what makes us distinctive from other institutions.
I would say it's never going to lose its middle name. That I think we find many students who come to PLU who buy into our educational mission. And that educational mission comes directly out of, though most people don't know it, it comes directly out of the Lutheran educational tradition. So whether or not students or faculty or staff identify as Lutheran or with a Lutheran school, the fact that they're buying into and fully supporting the educational mission of the university is a very Lutheran thing to do.
Mast TV also caught up with interim campus pastor John Rosenberg about campus ministry transitions. He told us that he wanted to make the organization more relational than institutional and reminded the campus community that this is a transition which requires patience.
There are a lot fewer Lutheran students, ELCA Lutheran students, than there were 20 years ago here. That number has been steadily declining over the years, and I think it's somewhere probably around 16.5% of the student body. You know, the question is, what does that mean for how campus ministry structures and you know, how we understand ourselves? But that's just one of the questions. So we're in a new time, and now we're trying to adapt to it. And you know, I have no doubt that PLU will do that very well, just as it's done it. You know, for the last 60 years, actually for the last 125 years.
Rosenberg says to look for a campus-wide faith survey in the future. Stay tuned to mass media coverage for more about faith at PLU. For Mast TV, I'm Eddie McCoven.
Make sure to pick up the first issue of the Mast tomorrow to check out Eddie's story in the feature section. PLU is making microaggressions even smaller. PLU students graced billboards across Pierce County, ripping microaggressions such as, "That's so gay" and "That's ghetto." This fall, PLU is tackling microaggressions on a smaller scale. The Bias Incident Response Team, affectionately known as BIRT, is an online filing system to report microaggressions and bias on campus. The hope is to eliminate discrimination, intentional or otherwise, to make PLU a more welcoming community. All on-campus residents were welcomed back with an informational door hanger all about BIRT and the new system. Let us know if you think BIRT will work. Tweet us at Mast Media. Another dorm remodel has been finished. Following last year's Stewin remodel, neighboring Residence Hall Ordahl went through an update over the summer. The ribbon-cutting ceremony for the remodeled building was held this past Friday. Speakers at the ribbon cutting included University President Thomas Christ, Director of Residential Life Tom Helsbeck, and interim campus pastor John Rosenberg. The short ribbon cutting was followed by a brief reception. Here's what Ordahl President-Director Angel Gonzalez and ASPLU Vice President Ellie Lapp had to say about the grand opening.
I'm really excited for the bonds and friendships that will develop here in Ordal Hall this year. Yay Ordal 2015!
I lived in Ordal my first year and it was a great community, so I think it's really great that it got this new renovation, an even better place to have community events and this big lounge space and great kitchens, so it'll be a great place.
Changes to the Res Hall include an updated exterior, new furniture for lounge spaces, energy-efficient LED lights, fully renovated bathrooms, and in fully contactless door access for all resident rooms. The PLU debate team is preparing for their first big meet, but instead of facing college students, Lute debaters are facing against some of Tacoma's politicos. PLU is hosting the 3rd annual Ruth Anderson debate, October 8th. This year's topic is the Tacoma Initiative 1. The initiative is calling to increase minimum wage to $15 from $9.47. This change would only apply to business and employers that make over $300,000 annually. Junior Matt Ost and senior Angie Tinker will be debating Tacoma Chamber of Commerce member Tom Pearson and Initiative 1 activist Vince Cooter. The debate will be held at 7 p.m. October 8th in Xavier 201. Do PLU students really use more than 120 Facebook accounts tied to PLU? Following this week's Mast cover story, Social Media Overload, we asked students on campus what PLU social media they actually used.
So I work with International Student Services, so I use that a lot on the Facebook, and then seeing other people post stuff on Instagram is a really good source of feedback.
I also do the dining one on Twitter, so I can know what lunch and breakfast and dinner is, but I mean, that's kind of the gist of it.
I follow most of my PLU social media on Facebook.
I saw one of my friends was advertising the PLU Recreations Instagram, so I followed that, and I followed it ever since.
Theater page and the housing page are pretty much the only ones I've looked at.
I feel like I follow more of PLU things on Twitter because they all have individual things, not so much on Facebook. So usually if I hear about something, it'll be on.
So I definitely followed the Class of 2019 Facebook page. It's a good way to get connected with all my close peers. I heard there's a Squirrels of PLU page, and that's a little debatable on if I'm going to follow that or not.
Definitely follow the Facebook one, and then I follow Instagram as well. I guess they just pretty much capture daily life at PLU.
If you have a Facebook page you really love, feel free to tell us by sending us a tweet on Twitter at @PLUMast. All right, Swiper No Swiping, the new Lute cards. PLU has started the transition into external contactless entry for campus buildings. A $20,000 upgrade for Xavier Hall was completed over the summer, replacing the traditional hard key entry system. Ordal and Steuin residence halls already have contactless entry, but as an internal feature. The next buildings to be updated will be Names, Ramstad, and Memorial. The new Lute cards that can be used for contactless entry are available at no cost to first years and juniors. For all others, it is $10 to trade in your old card and $30 without a previous card. More information can be found at the Campus Concierge. All right, thanks for tuning in to the premiere episode of News at 9. Now for Sarah G., who will be interviewing the new dance professor, Ariella Brown. We'll see you after this commercial break.
You talking to me?
Are you talking to me?
It's on us to stop sexual assault.
To get in the way before it happens.
To get a friend home safe.
And to not blame the victim.
It's on us.
To look out for each other.
To not look the other way. It's on us to stand up.
To step in.
To take responsibility.
It's on us, all of us.
To stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Bergiomi, and welcome to Everything Arts and Culture. We have a great show for you tonight with a recap of summer television, fall fashion trends, and an interview with the new dance professor. Let's get started.
I binge watched Grey's Anatomy this summer.
I watched Doctor Who. I watched One Tree Hill.
I binge watched Cutthroat Kitchen.
I watched Archer.
I binge watched Friends.
I watched Rick and Morty.
I watched a lot of Fox News Channel.
This summer I watched Scandal, House of Cards, Orange is the New Black, and then watched musicals.
See the full collection of best of summer movies, music, and TV picks on the Mast. If you didn't hear your favorite show mentioned, you should email us and tell us what everybody should be watching at plu@mastvplu.edu. This week I did a special project for the Mast showcasing fall trends that PLU students are wearing around campus. I got to know a group of PLU students who are into fashion, and I styled their outfits, hair, and makeup, as well as took them on a photo shoot to illustrate the trends and styles that are currently in this fall. Check out the behind-the-scenes video. So I have a lot of background in fashion. I did a modeling program for a photographer in my town for 3 years, and I interned for her as well. And getting to see her take pictures really taught me a lot about photography. And when I'm taking pictures and seeing fashion trends, I love it because it's just like you see a vision, and you see, like, when I see a scarf, I'm like, wow, that would look beautiful with the fatigue green jacket, and you just kind of see how things, almost just like videography, or maybe people with math, like you just have, like, you know what you want to see. And I love that when I'm doing photography, because you see a person and you automatically know, like, oh, I bet they have a beautiful smile. I bet they would look great in this pose. And when you kind of play around and you put them in a pose and you add a scarf, and it all comes together. And it's such a great feeling. And then you're on the street and you are looking at fashion trends and you just see everybody and you're like, wow, I love that accessory. I love that purse. And it's so great because I see fashion and it's more than just a clothing item. It's more than just jeans with boots. It's a vision, and I like that because it's a way to express yourself. It's a way to individualize fashion and just make it something that's your own, and I love that. Thanks to Josh Wiersma for his video work. Make sure you get your own copy of the Mast tomorrow to see more pictures, the full story, and find out if you are wearing what's in this season. Today, we have Ariella Brown, the new dance professor, to tell us a little bit about herself and clue us in on the details of the upcoming year. All right, so where have you been before PLU?
Well, before I came to PLU, I was working at Pima Community College in Arizona, University of Kentucky in Kentucky, and then University of Arizona in Tucson as well. And then I also performed professionally in Portland, Oregon, Pittsburgh, and Seattle.
What's your favorite experience that you've had?
I had a chance to work, well, it's kind of split between two. I had a chance to work with Rennie Harris, who's a really well-known house dancer in Philadelphia. And then I also danced for the Portland Opera, which was really fun just because there were big costumes and wigs and yeah.
That's so exciting. So why PLU?
When I visited PLU, I was really struck by the warm nature of the students and the faculty, and also everyone's willingness to want to expand the dance program into something even bigger than it was.
Awesome. So what are you expecting of the dance team this year?
The dance team, I actually just adjudicated their auditions.
Awesome. And
there's a lot of really great talent coming in, and I'm really excited to see what they have to bring to the table.
And what about the showcase for 2015-2016?
Well, the showcase, we're calling it Dance Continuum now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
The showcase is going to be run a little bit differently. Anyone's welcome to choreograph.
That's great.
And because of that, people are going to start rehearsing in the fall and the spring, and there will be 2 auditions for dancers, including the first one that's coming up this coming Thursday, the 24th at 4 p.m. in the Columbia Center studio.
Exciting! So what are you most looking forward to this year? All experiences.
I'm really looking forward to actually just getting in the studio and rehearsing with my own dancers. There's nothing more that I enjoy than working with students and crafting a piece together.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
All right, so next up we have, thank you so much for coming. Make sure you check out information about the dance program and the SOAC calendar for upcoming events. Thank you, Lutz. That is all for Arts and Culture this week. I am Sarah Giomi. Make sure to check us out on social media or online at mastmedia.plu.edu or next Wednesday at News at 9. Up next is Sports with Dylan and Kara. Stay tuned after this commercial break.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
You talking to me?
Are you talking to me?
That's low.
Look, he's blushing.
Welcome back to News at 9. I'm Dylan Foreman.
And I'm Kara Gillespie. Let's get started.
Women's volleyball is looking to keep their winning streak as they head into regular conference play this weekend. The Lutes will host conference favorite Whitworth on Friday at 7 p.m. and Whitman on Saturday at 5 p.m.
Last Saturday, Lutz football opened the first half of Saturday's game with a 26-10 lead, but gave up 20 unanswered points in the second half. The Lutes ended up going home with a loss of 30-26 against Cal Lutheran. Quarterback John Schaub completed 25 of his 43 pass attempts for 308 yards with 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. They have a bye week this weekend before welcoming Trinity for the first home game of the year. Listen for all their games on Laser, PLU's student-run radio station.
Men's soccer ends their 2-game losing streak with a 2-1 victory over Mary Hardin Baylor. Junior midfielder Diego Aceves and sophomore forward Eddie Na recorded goals for the Lutes. Next up, they host George Fox on Saturday at 2:30 p.m. and Pacific on Sunday at 2:30.
Lutz women's soccer continue their winning streak to 5 games and have now outscored their opponents 12-0. This afternoon, the Lutes took on University of Puget Sound, and after double overtime, neither team took home a victory. Instead, the 2 top-ranked teams in the conference stayed a stalemate. They welcome Willamette on Saturday and Lewis and Clark on Sunday. Both games kick off at noon. The women's soccer team is not only having a blast outshining competition at home, but this summer they traveled to England to compete, learn, and bond. Junior Lena Moreno documented the first Lute trip abroad since the 1990s in this video.
Get my shoes and out the door. 5, I'm alive. 6, 7, 8, feeling great. 9, gonna shine, life is good. I'm doing fine. 10, gonna do it right and do it again, yeah. I look into the sky with all the beautiful color, but there's more than just for me, so gonna share it with another. I got to show, to give, let out. I want to sing and shout. Take a look and see a beautiful morning that turns into a beautiful evening, and together make a beautiful life. And if you wanna see, then come along with me, that's right. And if you want a good tomorrow, it's pretty simple, gotta find a light to follow. And if you do, you have a future real bright. And it's a combination of consistency. Come on and say, oh, 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 oh. Come on just to keep the worries away. I gotta dance just a little bit, move to be free. Keep my head up, don't forget to be me. Like I won $1 million, like I hit the pay dirt. Gonna smile from ear to ear, the kind that makes your face hurt. And we'll laugh, jump, sing loud, not afraid to shout about being happy, living it out. Take a look and see a beautiful morning that turns into a beautiful evening, and together make a beautiful life. And if you wanna see, then come along with me, that's right. And if you want a good tomorrow, it's pretty simple, gotta find a life to follow. And if you do, you have a future real bright. And it's a combination of consistency. Come on and sing, oh, 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 oh. Come on, come on, come on and sing, yeah. Come on, come on, come on and sing. Oh, 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 oh. Come on, come on, come on and sing, yeah. Come on, come on, come on and sing. Oh, 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 oh. Come on, come on, come on and sing, yeah. Come on, come on, come on and sing. Oh, 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 oh. Come on, come on, come on and sing, yeah. Come on, come on, come on and sing.
I'm not in Luke. We're about to get on this field and go ham!
When the beat drops out and the people gone, will you still be there for me, child? And when the lights go out and the morning comes, will you still be there for me, child? the beat drops out and the people gone, will you still be there for me, child? When the lights go out and the morning comes, will you still be there for me, child? When the beat drops out.
Read more about the women's soccer trip in tomorrow's issue of the Mast.
Annika Smith-Ortiz is the first female football player at PLU. She talked to Mast Media for the first issue of Mast magazine. Here's some of what she had to say about her experience as a female athlete navigating a male-dominated sport.
Whether or not people mean to make you feel that way, I mean, I'm not really feeling it right now at all, which is kind of like freeing almost, because my entire high school career was just kind of like what will they think because I'm a girl? Like, what am I doing? Like, how will that affect me as a player because I'm a girl? So it's really, when I was in high school, like, if I would get injured, it was pretty much play through the injury, because they'll put in a guy kicker, and if they decide that he's just as good as you, then they'll just keep him there and sideline you because you're a girl. I think that honestly there's some really incredible guys on the team, but when it comes to dating people on a sports team, you don't see very often soccer players who are dating soccer players on their team, and that might just be a gender thing, but for me it's also the involvement in the sport can be taken away from if there's more personal relationships other than kind of the brotherly family vibe that's already happening.
Okay.
And you know, oftentimes they say it won't happen, but you can be looked down on a lot if you enter a relationship with another person on the team. And I don't want that to take away from me being just another guy on the team. So
Check out massmedia.plu.edu for more of Annika's story.
That's all for tonight. Make sure to tweet us your thoughts at PLU Mast.
See you next week. Thanks for watching. Boom.